The Keth Empire had conquered 47 worlds in their relentless expansion across the galaxy. Their massive fleet of 300 warships dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, their sensors immediately detecting the primitive radio waves emanating from the third planet. Commander Vex stood on the bridge of the flagship Death's Edge, his forearms crossed behind his back as he studied the tactical display. The blue-green world before them appeared no different from dozens of others they had claimed. Primitive satellites orbited the planet like toys, and the electromagnetic signatures suggested a civilization barely beyond nuclear capability. Initial. "Scans complete, Commander," reported Lieutenant Cole from his station. "Population approximately 8 billion. Technology level classified as Bronze Tier. No space-based defenses detected." Vex's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. Bronze Tier civilizations typically surrendered within hours of orbital bombardment. Their largest ships were confined to planetary surfaces, and their weapons could barely scratch Keth armor plating. "Standard. Conquest protocol," Vex ordered. "Send the surrender demand. If they refuse, begin surface bombardment of major population centers." The transmission was broadcast in 17 languages, demanding immediate and unconditional surrender. Earth's governments scrambled to respond, their primitive communication networks buzzing with panic and confusion. President Davis sat in the emergency bunker beneath the White House, surrounded by military advisors and world leaders connected via secure channels. The alien message played again on the screens around them, its mechanical translation chilling in its simplicity. "How long do we have?" Davis asked General Brooks, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. "They're giving us 12 hours," Brooks replied grimly. "Our nuclear arsenals won't even reach their ships in orbit." Satellite imaging shows vessels larger than aircraft carriers. Prime Minister Watson's voice crackled through the speakers from London. "Our physicists estimate their technology is centuries ahead of ours. Conventional resistance appears futile." But humanity had never been conventional. In military bases across the globe, soldiers prepared for the impossible. In research facilities, scientists worked frantically to understand the alien technology. In homes and shelters, ordinary people made extraordinary decisions about what they were willing to sacrifice for freedom. "Commander." Vex waited exactly 12 hours before ordering the attack. The human response had been predictably defiant, a collection of crude threats and patriotic speeches that only reinforced their primitive nature. "Begin orbital bombardment," Vex commanded. "Target their largest cities first." The first wave of Keth plasma cannons fired, sending brilliant streaks of energy toward Earth's surface. But something unexpected happened. The beams struck invisible barriers that flickered into existence around major cities, dispersing the energy harmlessly into the atmosphere. "Report!" Vex barked, his confidence wavering for the first time. "Unknown energy shields have appeared around their population centers," Cole stammered. "The technology... It doesn't match anything in our databases." On Earth's surface, Dr. Emma Kane stood in a hidden laboratory beneath CERN, her hands flying over holographic controls that shouldn't have existed. The technology was impossible, a fusion of human ingenuity and something else, something that had been waiting in Earth's quantum fields for the right moment to emerge. "Shields are holding at 98%, she reported to the Global Defense Network. "Whatever this is, it's responding to our thoughts, our intentions to protect." Across the planet, similar scenes played out. Weapons that had never existed before materialized in the hands of soldiers. Aircraft that defied known physics lifted from hidden hangars. It was as if humanity's desperate need for defense had awakened. Something dormant in the very fabric of reality around Earth. Commander Vex ordered a full assault, bringing 200 ships into close orbit. The Keth had never encountered resistance that actually strengthened under pressure, but they were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology. It was the refusal to surrender. As the first day of the invasion ended. 17. Keth ships hung dead in space, their crews evacuated in escape pods. The remaining vessels pulled back to assess this impossible development. In the depths of space, something ancient watched the battle unfold. Earth had been chosen long ago, seeded with potential that would only activate when humanity faced extinction. The test had begun, and the results would determine not just Earth's fate, but the future of the galaxy itself. The real war was just beginning. The second day of the invasion brought revelations that would shake both species to their core. In military hospitals around the world, wounded soldiers began exhibiting impossible abilities. Private Jake Miller, burned by alien plasma, found his wounds healing at an incredible rate. More disturbing, he could sense the locations of Keth ships through the metal walls of his bunker. "It's like I can feel them up there," Jake told Dr. Sarah Chun, the military physician examining him. "Their thoughts. They're scared now." Dr. Chun had documented 17 similar cases in the past 6 hours. Soldiers who had been exposed to alien energy weapons weren't just surviving, they were changing. Blood tests showed genetic markers that hadn't existed 24 hours earlier. Commander Vex studied the tactical reports with growing unease. Overnight, the human resistance had become organized with military precision that defied explanation. Their primitive aircraft were intercepting Keth fighters with impossible accuracy, as if the pilots knew exactly where to strike. "Sir, we're receiving multiple distress signals," Lieutenant Cole reported, his voice strained. 3 squadrons have gone dark in the last hour." The main screen displayed the wreckage of Keth fighters scattered across Earth's upper atmosphere. Each ship showed the same damage pattern, precise strikes to critical systems, as if the humans knew the exact weakness of Keth technology. In the Nevada desert, General Brooks watched as test pilot Maria Santos climbed into an aircraft that had been constructed in underground facilities over the past 18 months. The project had been classified beyond top secret, built from blueprints that had appeared in the minds of engineers worldwide on the same night. "Phoenix Squadron, you are cleared for launch." Brooks spoke into his headset. The aircraft that emerged from hidden bunkers bore no resemblance to human technology. Sleek and organic in design, they moved through the sky like living creatures, adapting their shape mid-flight to optimize for speed or maneuverability. Santos felt the ship respond to her thoughts rather than her controls. The targeting system showed her not just where the alien vessels were, but where they would be, as if time itself was providing the information. "Phoenix 1 engaging hostile targets," she reported, her voice unnaturally calm. The dogfight lasted less than 3 minutes. 12 Keth fighters fell to Earth as burning meteors dot across the globe. Similar scenes unfolded. In Tokyo, office worker Hiroshi Tanaka found himself able to predict enemy movements with perfect accuracy, leading evacuation efforts that saved thousands. In London, mechanic Tom Wilson discovered he could interface with alien technology by touch, turning captured Keth weapons against their former owners. The most disturbing development occurred in Moscow, where physicist Dr. Ivan Petrov made a discovery that changed everything. The quantum fields around Earth weren't just protecting humanity, they were teaching them. "The energy signatures are intelligent," Petrov reported to the Global Defense Council. "Whatever is enhancing our people, it's been studying the alien technology since they arrived. It's learning, adapting, and sharing that knowledge with us instantly." Commander Vex received the reports with mounting horror. In galactic history, no bronze-tier species had ever developed psychic abilities. The humans weren't just resisting, they were evolving in real time, becoming something the Keth had never encountered. "Pull back all fighters," Vex ordered. "Establish defensive perimeter at lunar distance." But it was too late. Human ships, if they could still be called human, were already leaving Earth's atmosphere. The vessels moved without visible propulsion, their hulls shifting and adapting like living organisms. The first Keth warship, the Iron Talon, fell to a coordinated attack by 6 human craft. The aliens watched in terror as their supposedly impregnable shields collapsed under weapons that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Captain Rex, commanding officer of the Iron Talon, managed one final transmission before his ship was consumed by impossible fire. They're not human anymore. They're something else, something that was waiting. As night fell on the second day, 43 Keth ships had been destroyed or captured. The remaining vessels pulled back to the edge of the solar system, their crews experiencing something unknown in Keth culture-fear. On Earth, the changes continued. Children born in the past 24 hours showed neural patterns that suggested intelligence far beyond human norms. Adults found themselves understanding concepts of physics and engineering that had taken humanity centuries to discover. The awakening was just beginning, and the Keth Empire was about to learn that some species aren't conquered, they're activated. Asterisk. The third day marked humanity's transformation from defender to hunter. Commander Vex stood before the Emergency War Council aboard the flagship Death's Edge, his forearms trembling as he delivered the impossible news. We have lost 112 ships in 48 hours. The humans are no longer defending, they are hunting us. Admiral Kane, Supreme Commander of the Keth Fleet, listened to the reports with growing disbelief. Her species had conquered worlds for 3,000 years, and never had they encountered resistance that grew stronger with each engagement. "Show me the tactical data," she commanded. The holographic display revealed a nightmare scenario. Human ships, now numbering in the hundreds, moved through space with impossible coordination. They struck Keth vessels with surgical precision, targeting command bridges and engine cores with weapons that bypassed shields entirely. On Earth, the transformation centers buzzed with activity. What had once been ordinary humans now served as living interfaces between their species and the awakened quantum fields that surrounded their planet. Lieutenant Anna Cross stood in the Neural Command Center beneath Cheyenne Mountain. Her consciousness expanded across dozens of human vessels. Simultaneously, she could feel every ship, every pilot, every weapon as extensions of her own body. "Target acquired," she whispered, her enhanced senses detecting a Keth patrol near Jupiter. "Phoenix Wing, initiate pursuit." The human ships moved like a school of fish, their formations perfect and deadly. Captain Steve Adams piloted the lead vessel, feeling the quantum drives respond to his intentions rather than manual controls. The ship itself seemed alive, its hull adapting to maximize stealth and speed. "Contact in 30 seconds, Adams reported, though the communication was unnecessary. Every human pilot shared the same tactical awareness, the same predatory focus. Keth Patrol consisted of 5 heavy cruisers, each one capable of destroying a pre-invasion Earth city. They detected the approaching humans too late. By the time their sensors registered the attack, 3 cruisers were already dying, their crews evacuating in panic. Impossible. Captain Zor screamed as his ship's weapons failed to target the human vessels. "They're moving through dimensions we can't even perceive." The remaining 2 Keth ships attempted to flee, their faster-than-light drives charging desperately. But the humans had learned to anticipate this tactic. Space itself seemed to twist around the alien vessels, trapping them in quantum fields. That made escape impossible. Back on the Keth flagship, Admiral Kane made a decision that went against every military principle her species had ever followed. Signal full retreat to the outer system. All ships maximum burn. The withdrawal became a rout as human forces pressed their advantage. Ships that had taken decades to build were abandoned as their crews fled in escape pods. The humans showed a disturbing tendency to capture rather than destroy, and the fate of those captured crews remained unknown. Dr. Lisa Parker, now serving as Earth's primary xenobiologist, studied the captured Keth technology with abilities she hadn't possessed a week earlier. Her enhanced intellect could comprehend alien engineering principles that would have taken human scientists decades to understand. They're not just advanced, she reported to the Global Council. They're limited. Their technology follows rigid patterns, while ours is evolving with every engagement. The truth was more profound than anyone realized. The quantum fields around Earth weren't just enhancing human capabilities, they were rewriting the fundamental laws of physics and local space, creating advantages that no conventional military could counter. On the fourth day, humanity made its boldest move yet. A fleet of 50 human vessels departed Earth's solar system, pursuing the retreating Keth forces into deep space. The ships moved without regard for the normal limitations of physics, traveling faster than light without conventional drives. Commander Vex, now serving as evacuation coordinator, watched his proud fleet scatter across dozens of star systems. The humans followed relentlessly, their impossible ships appearing wherever Keth vessels attempted to regroup. "They're not just chasing us," he reported to Admiral Kane during their final communication. "They're hurting us, driving us toward something." The realization came too late. Humanity's strategy wasn't random aggression, it was surgical precision. They were eliminating the Keth fleet systematically, ensuring that only specific ships would survive to carry their message back to the Empire. As the fifth day dawned on Earth, humanity stood triumphant. Of the original 300 Keth warships, only 17 remained functional, and these survivors found themselves facing a choice that would haunt the galaxy: run home with empty ships, or join their comrades in whatever fate awaited captured Keth crews. The counterattack was complete. Now came the lesson. The 17 surviving Keth ships scattered across the galaxy, each carrying crews that had witnessed the impossible. Commander Vex found himself aboard the crippled destroyer Starbreaker, leading a desperate flight toward the edge of known space. "Hyperspace engines are failing," reported his navigator, Tech Officer Roll. "The humans did something to our jump cores. We can barely maintain sublight speed." Vex studied the tactical display showing the positions of the other surviving vessels. They were spread across 12 star systems, each ship alone and defenseless. The humans had deliberately damaged their faster-than-light capabilities, ensuring the survivors could only limp home through normal space. "Sir, we're detecting pursuit," Roll announced, his voice cracking with fear. On the screen, 3 human vessels materialized from what appeared to be empty space. Their hulls pulsed with organic light, and they moved with the fluid grace of predators. Stalking wounded prey, Captain Ellen Price commanded the lead human ship. Her consciousness merged with the vessel's quantum intelligence. She could feel the terror of the Keth crew ahead, their desperate attempts to squeeze more speed from damaged engines. "Target is attempting evasive maneuvers," reported her tactical officer, though the words were unnecessary. Every human on the CL ship shared the same awareness, the same predatory focus that had replaced their original humanity. "Disable their remaining weapons," Price ordered. "Leave life support intact." The human weapons struck with surgical precision, cutting through Keth armor like paper. But instead of destroying the alien ship, they systematically removed its ability to fight back while leaving the crew unharmed. Aboard the Starbreaker, Vex watched his final defense systems go offline. Emergency lighting bathed the bridge in. Red, as his weapons officer, reported total system failure. "They're not trying to kill us," Vex realized aloud. "They're collecting us." The human ships took position around the crippled Keth destroyer, their formation perfectly coordinated. Then something unprecedented happened. The lead human vessel began to speak, broadcasting directly into Vex's mind. "Your crew will be transferred." The voice said, neither male nor female, but something beyond gender. You will witness what humans have learned. Then you will carry that knowledge home. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy as the remaining Keth survivors found themselves captured one by one. Each ship was systematically disabled, its crew removed with clinical efficiency. The humans showed no cruelty, no revenge for theirs. Attempted invasion, only a cold, methodical purpose that terrified the aliens more than violence would have dot in a facility that existed somewhere between dimensions. The captured Keth crews found themselves in holding areas that defied their understanding of physics. The space seemed infinite yet confined, filled with technology that responded to thought rather than physical manipulation. Dr. Maria Santos, now transformed into something that barely resembled her original human form, studied the alien prisoners. With enhanced senses that could perceive their emotional states directly. "They're ready," she reported to the collective consciousness that humanity had become. "Fear has prepared them to understand." The education began immediately. Each Keth prisoner was connected to a neural interface that showed them the truth about their invasion. They witnessed Earth's transformation, saw their supposedly primitive enemy evolve into something beyond their comprehension. Commander Vex experienced the revelation firsthand as images flooded his mind. He saw human children born with abilities that surpassed Keth military commanders. He watched human scientists unravel the secrets of reality itself in a matter of hours. He felt the quantum fields that surrounded Earth like a living entity, ancient and patient, and utterly alien to both species. "We were never the target," Vex whispered as understanding dawned. Earth was waiting for someone to threaten it so it could wake up. The truth was more terrifying than any military defeat. Humanity hadn't simply repelled an invasion. They had been chosen by forces beyond galactic comprehension to serve as guardians against species like the Keth. The invasion had been a test, and the Keth had failed catastrophically. After 7 days in the facility, the Keth crews were returned to their ships, but they found their vessels changed, upgraded, with technology they couldn't understand or control. The ships would carry them home, but they were no longer truly Keth vessels. "You will deliver our message," the collective human consciousness told them. "You will explain what happens to species that threaten worlds under our protection." As the 17 ships departed for Keth space, their holds were empty of everything except fear. The crews that had once been proud warriors were now broken messengers, carrying a warning that would reshape galactic civilization. The hunt was complete. Now came the reckoning. 6 months after the failed invasion. 17 empty ships limped into Keth home space, their hulls scarred and their crews forever changed. Supreme Admiral Kane stood in the command center of the orbital fortress empires. Pride watching the tactical display with growing dread. The returning vessels registered on sensors, but something was fundamentally wrong with them. The ship's energy signatures flickered between familiar Keth patterns and something utterly alien. "Open communication with the lead vessel," Kane ordered, though part of her feared what she might hear. Commander Vex appeared on the main screen, but he was barely recognizable. His 4 arms hung limp at his sides. His compound eyes held no trace of the warrior pride that had once defined him. When he spoke, his voice carried an odd harmonic that made the bridge crew uncomfortable. "Admiral Kane," Vex said, his words slow and measured. "We have returned to deliver a message." Kane studied the tactical readouts of the returning ships. Each vessel showed the same impossible modifications, hull plating that seemed to shift between solid matter and energy, weapon systems that registered power levels beyond Keth understanding, and most disturbing of all, completely empty crew quarters. "Where are your crews, Commander?" Kane demanded. Vex's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter or despair. "We are the crews, Admiral. What remains of them? The humans. They showed us what we truly are. what all of us are to them. The 17 ships took position in a perfect formation that no Keth tactical manual had ever described. They moved with the fluid coordination Kane had seen in the battle reports from Earth, as if controlled by a single intelligence. The humans wish to address the Keth Empire directly, Vex continued. They have given us the ability to transmit their message across all frequencies, to every world under our control. Before Kane could respond, every communication system in the Keth home system activated simultaneously. The message that followed was broadcast to every inhabited world, every military installation, every ship in the vast Keth Empire. The voice that spoke was not human, not Keth, but something that encompassed both and neither. It carried harmonics that resonated in quantum dimensions, reaching not just ears, but minds across the galaxy. "We are the species you knew as human," the voice began. "We were once as you are now, confined to a single world, limited by the physics you understand, vulnerable to conquest by those who believe themselves superior." Images flooded the transmission, showing the brief war from humanity's perspective. The Keth invasion fleet appeared pitifully small against the vastness of Earth's awakened defenses. Their weapons looked primitive compared to the reality-bending technologies that humanity had manifested. "Your invasion was not a war," the voice continued. "It was an examination, a test to determine whether your species possessed the wisdom to recognize true power when confronted with it." Admiral Kane watched her empire's reaction to the broadcast through a network of communication relays. On every world, in every fleet, Keth citizens and soldiers witnessed the same. Impossible truth humanity had transcended the limitations that defined galactic civilization. "You failed the examination," the voice stated with calm finality. "Your species views the galaxy as territory to be conquered, other civilizations as resources to be exploited. This perspective is no longer acceptable." As 17 ships began to glow with internal light that was painful to observe directly, their hulls became translucent, revealing interior spaces that extended into dimensions the Keth couldn't perceive. Effective immediately, the Keth Empire will cease all expansion activities. You will return the territories seized from 47 conquered species. You will provide reparations to the civilizations you have destroyed. Kane found her voice at last. "And if we refuse? You are only 17 ships against an empire of billions." The response came not in words, but in demonstration. Across the Keth home system, every military vessel suddenly found its weapon systems offline. Not damaged or destroyed, but simply gone, as if they had never existed. Space stations lost their shields. Planetary defense grids powered down despite frantic attempts to reactivate them. "We are not 17 ships," the voice explained gently. "We are the guardians of the galaxy's future. We exist in every quantum field, every dimension, every possibility where consciousness threatens to destroy rather than create." The final message was delivered by Commander Vex, though his voice now carried the same impossible harmonics as his human masters. "Tell your people," he said, staring directly at Admiral Kane. "Tell them that Earth's children are watching. Tell them that the age of conquest is over. And tell them that species which refuse to evolve simply cease to be relevant." The 17 ships vanished simultaneously, leaving behind only empty space and a galaxy forever changed by the knowledge that humanity had become something beyond conquest, beyond destruction, beyond the petty ambitions that had once driven galactic civilization. The message was delivered. The universe would never be the same without asterisk.